My name's Link, here to talk about a gay anime. Yes, you heard me. I'm talking about a boys' love anime where two dudes get real close for no reason whatsoever. And they're gonna touch a lot. Gay, homosexual, gay. Okay, I think that scared the haters away now. I can finally be frank, because I am about to go apeshit here. Nothing's gonna fucking stop me. The hype I felt for the show was absolutely unreal. It's like the heavens looked down upon my taste one day and collectively thought, yeah, that's kinda sexy enough. And boom, we have Sankaku Mado Sotogawa wa Yoru. Okay, for legal purposes, I have to be clear that I don't actually have the power of God and anime by my side, but I am very much reaping their benefits. I cannot squeal hard enough about how this anime's first announcement just went for my non-existent balls. They can't just very specifically mention that they're a boys love horror and mystery mix and expect me not to nut. That's like basically a speedrun to my heart. Okay, enough of me stroking this show stick as if I get a nice turkey dinner as a payout. What the hell is Sankaku Mado actually about? The story begins with us being introduced to this anime's I See Dead People main protagonist, as we literally waste no time on introducing his would-be peculiar partner, in all varieties of that word. Partner in a relationship? Partner in bed? Partner in crime? You name it, there's a 25% chance we have it. Anyway, this guy's a total nutjob, and if you were to see a realistic reaction to his fuckery, then your safest bet is running for the hills. I really find it amusing that they didn't even stop to breathe and talk you down on what their deal is. We're barely over a minute in the first episode and one guy already made the other violently horny to the point that he passes out. I am not joking. All for them to just break the ice that guy is actually a more honest, less charming version of Reagan from Mob Psycho 100, where he has an office to make ghosts be double dead for monetary gain. From there, we follow several MacGuffins until we have the poor, unsuspecting main protagonist right where we want him. And that is in places where he is obviously scared shitless and in distress because it's for our entertainment. Haha! Do the MacGuffins make even a single sense? Who cares? I'll tell you right now that I am one happy camper. The series, in fact, gives me that oh so yummy horror and mystery. It's like all my Christmas mornings are coming at once. And even happier when I got surprised that the ghosts are barely the source of any actual dread in the show. And in fact, comes from the other lead, Hiyakawa. There's just something about him that makes him seem like he's some bizarre fake human. Everything about him, from his enigmatic smile to his stilted speech, just has this imbalanced quality to it. As if they're playing with the uncanny valley to make you see something that's clearly human, but just enough things are off about him to make it look like he's a parody. Not to mention his super simplistic and sometimes childish way of processing things. Which is the universal rule of horror, that children in it are always pants-soilingly terrifying. Which presents us with something that's basically an amalgamation of unsettling sensations just packed into this one handsome and clean-looking dude. And he's not just a one-note insane character either. Every time you think you've got a handle on him, he just shows another layer to communicate just how more unhinged he was than we previously thought. Like a creepy and sociopathic lasagna. And if there's one thing to know about my favorite types of character, it's that I will be infinitely more invested in a crazy and or unhinged character than have to deal with a giant brick of dried paste excuse of one. Because at least a morally questionable character can make me feel something when watching the show, curiosity to find out the reason why they're like this if they're on the good side, or anticipate what they can do if they're the bad guys. While a bland one can just only ever bore me to sleep. Anyway, yeah, Hiyakawa is definitely the highlight of the show for me. Other than that, it's also hitting the right spot about how the story structure is a mission of the week, with an overarching plot that progresses alongside it, moving slower but also building up more tension. I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but I just love this sort of storytelling. Basic as it may seem, it supplies ample situations and world-building tidbits for us, as well as the characters, to better understand themselves and each other, while always having a hint of something much more menacing brewing beneath the surface. They slide into this routine so fast, in fact, everything's happening at a breakneck speed and the main character was left behind 3 steps ago. And you know how it is, my lovely viewer. If the main character being portrayed as not knowing much, then they're our vehicle for consuming the plot. And him being left behind would often mean that us, the viewer, are being left behind too. Unless they're like criminally dumb, which I indefinitely say he isn't. He's just a coward. And for someone who's scared beyond shitless at the situation he's being pushed into, he sure doesn't put up much of a struggle to not be there. Though the pay does seem good, and you know what, maybe I do understand his entire character. And this couldn't be a better time to talk about this little nerd, the forefront character of the show's poster. He's on thin ice for me. He's barely a part of his own story, and is rather dragged by everyone around him to do their bidding. And almost every other scene where there are more than one person with a slightly assertive attitude, they talk about and over him like he isn't even there. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't think that he's playing for the reason of being a self-insert for the viewer. Because one, like I said, who in their right mind would actually want to mag on this crazy? And two, when writing an active romance question mark, with a very clear face that's distinct enough you can't clearly put a cutout of your own there, then you can't expect the viewer to put themselves inside his sweaty shoes. It really is baffling how I can get attached to every other character like the cop dad and the mom and Saito Somer's character, but I can't find myself to care about our main character. He isn't doing anything wrong per se, except for the unfortunate victim of not being all that interesting. One other thing I found peculiar is that the story has strengths in some places, but not in others. To start off with the good, the short and contained story set to move the plot forward are all delicious little nuggets to sink my teeth into. It feels amazing in the moment, and intriguing and heart-pumping at each new ghost or curse they're dealing with. But the overarching plot seems to be left back at home by the irresponsible parents. While sure it appears at some glances in the episodes to remind you that it still exists, I feel like there could have been even more tidbits sprinkled around the runtime like a nice little sundae. Because then, when the overarching story hits a major plot point, it suddenly seems like we went through several hoops when I wasn't looking. The progression between the two mains, while kinda obvious and to be expected at that point in the story, suddenly feels more like a lurching stop at some of the important points, because once again the main character is just dragged into everything, giving him no agency and therefore lack the initiative to want to get closer to Hiyakawa. And yeah, sure, it's only natural to want to get to know the person you're working for, and that doesn't need to have any deeper meaning to it. But come on, this is boys' love. No way would I be satisfied if these guys just settle for being casual working acquaintances. I need a dildo if it isn't hitting up towards romance. This shit about destiny and needing each other to complete themselves notwithstanding. I'm not even gonna talk about the innuendos, okay? And if they do end this without the idea of romance, well, first off, that's a shame on whichever homophobe is in the anime production, to which I will promptly shove the dildo up their ass and then have them eat it. Like, I'm not even asking for a kiss, or for them to walk hand in hand against the sunset at the last episode before the credits roll. I am asking very little in that they don't discount everything they've been doing up until now by going, just both things, you know. Anyway, I love this show. It's my habit to dampen my expectations for a show that catches my eye, and most especially this one that seemed to just sing to me and my tastes. But even with that, I came out impressed and engrossed in the story, while still admitting that it has some flaws and less polished areas. If you've reached this far, then I'm pretty sure the BL genre doesn't bother you anymore, so I can wholeheartedly recommend this anime. It wears its thriller mystery tag proudly like a badge, and has an expansive imagination to keep you engaged. And that's it for this one, everybody! Comment down below on what you think of the anime, or if you're interested in watching it now. I'd love to see what you guys think. Check out my other videos to see my other first impressions for other seasonal anime I've covered. Or check out my other series where I review and recommend anime you might not have heard of. Are they hidden gems, or do they resort to false obscurity? Let's find out together. And as always, don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, and consider subscribing for all things food and anime. Bye-bye!